Welcome to the evening edition of our news. Tonight we bring to you the EC&I 832 Summary of Learning Tournament. The teams in this tournament will have to prove that they know what it means to be media literate in 2018. They must prove that they are conscious consumers of media. They must prove to us that they also understand how to be a well-rounded digital citizen. They must also show that they know how to engage youth in the conversation about media literacy and digital citizenship. Who will be the winners of this tournament? Let's take a look at the teams. Tonight's first matchup is brought to you by Team Knowledge Withholders versus the Team Knowledge Sharers. Our second matchup of the evening is brought to you by the Visitors versus the Residents. The third matchup is brought to you by the Overgeneralizers versus Team Balance. Next up, we have Team Born That Way versus the Rebels. For our next challenge, we have the Reactors versus Team Proactive. Next up, we have Team No Tech versus Team Engage. Our seventh battle of the night comes to you with Team Skeptic challenging Team Believe Everything. The final battle of the night comes to you from Team Stay Out of My School challenging Team Engagement. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at these teams. Our first matchup, as we said, has Team Knowledge Withholders versus Team Knowledge Sharers. Our understanding of digital citizenship and media literacy tells us that collaboration is what it's all about. Now, that might not look neat, it might not look tidy, it might be a little bit messy, and it might be in a lot of different spaces. But if we're not collaborating and we're not communicating, then we aren't working towards building digital citizens who are media literate. So the winner of this battle, who will it be? Our second battle of the night is brought to you by the Visitors versus the Residents. The Visitors set a purpose for going online. They don't have many spaces that they go to. They don't question a lot of what they're doing. They go where they need to. They find the info. Maybe they go on to pay their bills. They don't have a social trace online. They go in, they do what they need, they leave, and they don't collaborate or work to build online communities. Whereas the Residents, they have spaces and places that they visit. They choose to be present. They leave a social trace that remains, and they have varied levels of residency. So maybe they have a personal level, they have an institutional level, a professional level, but they work to balance that, and they have an intentional purpose for being online. Our next battle is a controversial one. It's the overgeneralizers versus Team Balance. The overgeneralizers believe that we must fit into a category. You must be a digital native or a digital immigrant. You cannot be both. Whereas Team Balance believes that you can be a little bit of everything, and you don't have to be born within a certain time frame to have a certain set of knowledge or skills. We don't need to label everybody. We don't need to have a category that we fit in. But what we do need to be is people who are seeking out knowledge and working to better understand what our digital footprint says and how we can be conscious of the spaces that we are visiting online. Our next battle is brought to you by Team Born That Way versus the Rebels. The Rebels, they've organized engaging online into 3 different categories, giving us a way to understand what it means to be online in terms of offering respect to others, how we can educate ourselves about being online, and how we can protect ourselves online. Team Born That Way doesn't believe that we can build an understanding. We are born into the world that we are, and that's all we're going to know. If we want to learn about the world we're living in, forget about it. There's nothing to be learned. We know what we know when we're born and what the world around us teaches us as we grow older. All right, are you ready for our next battle? This one is brought to you by the Reactors versus Team Proactive. The Reactors, they don't believe in planning. They take it as it comes. They fix things as they've gone wrong. There's no plan going forward. They just take it as it comes. Whereas Team Proactive, they believe that you need a plan. You need to be educated. They believe that you need to understand the world that you're navigating. So if it's the online world, you need to understand where you're sharing things, how you're sharing them, what it looks like when you've shared them, how others can share them, how others can access that information, and they are prepared for whatever comes their way. They've taken precautions. Our next battle comes to you from 2 classroom teams. Team number one, Team No Tech, comes from exactly that, a team that does not use technology, does not believe in using technology, and they don't want anyone to see them using it. Whereas Team Engage believes that it's all about engagement and conversations in the classroom. They believe in working together to share the potential that technology can provide their students and themselves as educators. This team will communicate with one another, build communities that allow them to learn together, and they will engage in conversations. I don't think this one's a hard battle. This next battle is a challenging one. Do we fall under Team Believe Everything or are we skeptics? Team Believe Everything does not question anything that they read, they see it and believe it. So, if they see something that tells them the world's flat, they're going to believe the world's flat because that's what they read online. Whereas Team Skeptic, they ask questions, they check for understanding, they look for credentials, they construct their own understanding, they compare stories, and they corroborate what they have learned. This is a team that understands what they're reading and they work to make sure that they do in order to be informed. Our final challenge of the night is brought to you by Team Engagement versus Team Stay Out of My School. These teams have a reputation. Team Stay Out of My School has a reputation for closing their classroom doors, locking out all technology, and teaching from only the textbook. If technology does find a way into the classroom, then you can sure bet that everyone is playing a game and all at the same time. Technology is a reward on this team. There is no connection to learning here. Now, Team Engagement. This team will work with their team members to teach them how to use technology to better their understanding of topics that they are interested in. This team will guide their players through the building and understanding. They will guide with examples. They'll allow their teams to ask questions and learn along the way. They allow for mistakes. The leader of this team will engage their students in conversations about information they see and read online, how to engage with that information. They will also look at the spaces that they share online and what they're sharing. This is a well-informed team full of engaged, well-equipped, and the results are in with Team Engagement victorious over all other teams. You will see that engagement and balance were in the final battle together. We lost Team Knowledge Withholders. We lost the visitors. We lost the overgeneralizers. We lost Team Reactive. We lost Team Believe Everything. You can see that when we integrate, we work on balance, we have conversations, and we work together, and we talk to students about what it means to be online and engage them in those conversations. Team Engagement wins. That's all for now, folks. Enjoy your